I'm Dr. Kenneth Katz. I'm the CEO and founder of Dermatology Associates of Wisconsin and Forefront Dermatology. Over the last 8 years, we've grown from a one-man solo private practice to 37 clinics with 50 doctors in 3 states, and we are the second largest dermatology practice in the United States. We're a completely private practice, so we are fully dependent on patients calling our office based on reputation and selecting to see us. We're not part of any multi-specialty group, so we don't have a built-in referral pattern. We do get referrals from a lot of other physicians, but we're dependent on quality of care, customer service, and reputation. My great-grandfather and grandfather were general practice doctors in the Cedarburg area, and my father was a dermatologist here in Manitowoc, where I grew up. My grandfather, my great-grandfather, and my father all went to the same medical school, and so I broke the mold when I went to Madison. One of my brothers, Peter, is a dermatologist who works actually with us in the Appleton office. My sister was a physical therapist, and she then went and got her MBA, and she helps run the practice. My wife is a medical assistant, and she runs the marketing department. And my brother Tom is a physical therapist, and he is the director of physical therapy for the Marshfield Clinic. And then I have one other brother who is in insurance. I went to all the best schools and had great training. We always had great equipment and always knew that customer service, patient satisfaction always had to come first. And if you provided great quality care, then you develop a great reputation over time. I moved back here in 2001 and bought my dad's solo dermatology practice. And at that point, my only real aspiration was to be Manitowoc's dermatologist. But then I very quickly realized that you needed to be familiar with the business side of medicine and not just the medical side of medicine. So then we started to form a small group. I somehow convinced Dave Bertler to quit his job and join me. And I told him I have no money, so I can't really promise you anything other than I promise this is going to work out. And we took all the money that we had, we borrowed a lot of money to open up a clinic in Green Bay and up in Sturgeon Bay. And then between him, my dad, myself, and our PA, John Hayward, we drove all over the place trying to get these clinics set up. After we had the clinics set up, then we had other dermatologists start to join us. And then after a couple of years, we had a really nice group going. After we had the group going, then we looked at opportunities to expand into underserved markets. And I'd known Northeast Wisconsin pretty much, like the back of my hand, because I grew up here in Manitowoc and I was very familiar with all of the areas. So we were able to identify those areas and recruit dermatologists to come up here and join us and open in places that needed dermatologists. We very quickly realized as the practice grew that we could benefit from economies of scale. And so as we grew, it was costing us less and less for every phone call, less and less for dividing up the rent, less and less for follow-up visits and things like that. We also were able to negotiate group purchasing agreements, so we were buying things cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and negotiating more favorable insurance contracts. So obviously, if you are doing things cheaper, getting paid more for them, then the profit margin expands, and all of our physicians are paid on the profit margin, so the better the company does, the better they're paid. And we very much strive for personal professional life balance so that the doctors work hard while they're at work, and we put customer service, patient satisfaction always first, and make sure that all the doctors are fully supported with a medical staff team and a support team so that all they have to do is diagnose, treat, and take care of patients. We also believe very much in personal professional life balance so that the physicians are able to live their lives and enjoy things outside of work. One of our mantras is we work to live, we don't live to work. Dermatology is a specialty that's not dependent on hospital care. We don't do a lot in the hospital, and we don't order MRIs or do big surgeries in the operating room. So to a large extent, dermatology was ignored during the consolidation of healthcare that occurred over the last 25 years. And we saw that as an opportunity to consolidate dermatology. When you have everybody working towards a common goal, it's much more easy to achieve it. One of the things that we believe in our philosophy is that we take what the market gives us. We don't try to open offices in highly competitive areas like, Chicago. There are a lot of dermatologists that are facing a lot of the same struggles with government regulation and competition with the large multi-specialty groups that are out there. And they benefit from joining our practice because they can benefit from a lot of the efficiencies that we've developed. And we benefit from them joining our practice because we grow our economies of scale, increase the profit margin and increase the footprint of our practice. We're a small regional player now, meaning that most of our practice is in Wisconsin. We're starting to expand into surrounding states, and we want to become the best dermatology practice in the Midwest. I think that when you're the best at what you do, becoming the biggest follows naturally, because physicians want to join your group, patients want to be seen by your group, and that just continues to develop the business model.